Zhou thought for a while and decided not to make a move on Uriel for the time being. Uriel was a Master God tier seed that had a chance of becoming a Master God tier, and he also had a high-level bloodline, the Titan gods. He definitely had a Master God tier level technique that he had or that his race had given him. Even though Zhou had said that after killing so many true God tiers, he indeed had some Master God tier level means because of the King of Loots. However, Zhou had specially asked the Bodhi Supreme to calculate it. With the Master God tier means that he was willing to take out, he would at most be able to tie with Uriel's Master God tier means. Zhou did not like a risky draw. He had to win if he wanted to fight. It wasn't a moment of life and death. In his current situation, he could attack or retreat. There was no need to take any risks. It wasn't a moment of life and death. In his current situation, he could attack or retreat. There was no need to take any risks. In the face of such a difference, I reckon that I won't even be able to trigger the 10,000 Spirit Saints Lord talent after the battle. If such a situation really happens, wouldn't I be sending myself to my death? Zhou muttered. Naturally, he did not ignore the condition for the use of the 10,000 Spirit Saints Lord talent, which was that there was no absolute and irresistible difference in strength. He now had more than 100 billion soldiers and only 621 god spirits. Even if the god spirits of the Fire Cry human race and the Moon Demon race came over and joined the Blazing Sun Kingdom, the total number of god spirits under he would not exceed 2,000. They were far inferior to the 5,000 to 6,000 god spirits of the people of foreign races in the Uriel People of Foreign Race Alliance. Not to mention, there were still more than 30 true god tiers on the other side. In terms of ordinary soldiers, he could still fight them. However, in terms of god spirits, especially in terms of the number of true god tier, there was indeed a difference in strength that was absolutely impossible to resist. Zhou did not want to win miserably even if he could win. So, let's continue to develop for a while. There's no hurry. Uriel still wants to kill me. As long as I don't leave, he won't leave the high continent. Zhou thought to himself. Other than these innate abilities, its first talent effect could be considered to have raised the talent effect of insight defection to daily life. When others saw him, they would want to become his followers. How terrifying was this effect? Even the tyrannical aura in novels was not as impressive as this. As for the birth of the other talent effect, Spellcaster, it was originally at the legendary tier. Only after using the insight defection 10 times would a spellcaster with the ability to persuade surrender be born. Now that he had advanced to the mythical tier unique level, this probability became 100%. Every time he used the 10,000 Spirit Saint, a spellcaster would be born. Spellcaster was a god-tier great hoodwinker who had a 10% chance of inducting all the members of the enemy lord's faction into his loyal subordinates during a war. This kind of improvement was naturally an extremely strong improvement. This was equivalent to adding a new spellcaster under him every day. Before long, they could even form a spellcaster team. Zhou looked at the new lord talent carefully several times and finally nodded in satisfaction. After upgrading to the mythical tier unique level, the only regret of this talent was that it could be used once more. However, compared to the benefits it could bring, this limit was not that important. At this moment, a new thought appeared in his mind. He summoned Wenya and told her his thoughts. Wenya nodded and left. Zhou sat on the spot with an expectant smile on his face. I wonder if this method of mine will work. Let's see if my newly obtained mythical tier unique lord talent is as strong as I imagined. Zhou muttered. Then, he looked at the remaining lord talent crystal fragments and pondered. He could also upgrade a legendary tier lord talent to the mythical tier unique lord talent. He swept his gaze across the innate abilities of the lords and finally landed on the epic tier lord talent, Monster Ranch. This talent can increase my military strength explosively, Zhou muttered to himself. He didn't hesitate and chose to upgrade the other party. He first spent 100 million green bronze tier lord talent crystal fragments to fuse one legendary tier lord talent origin divine crystals. Then, he used it silently in his heart. The next second, a text notification appeared. You have 6 epic tier lord talents. Monster Ranch, the shelter of the goddess of life, talent intuition, super mission expert, dark walker, and light of black technology. Please choose one to advance. After reading it, he did not hesitate and directly chose to upgrade the lord talent, Monster Ranch. As for the other 5 epic tier lord talents, they were also very good. However, it was still inferior to the Monster Ranch. Lord talent has been chosen. Upgrading in progress. The next second, he felt a familiar warm feeling appear between his eyebrows again. Even though it was not as intense as when he leveled up to the mythical tier, the one and only Lord talent, Jojo was also very satisfied. A moment later, the warmth faded. A new text notification appeared. Lord talent upgrade successful. Congratulations, your epic tier Lord talent, Monster Ranch, has been upgraded to legendary tier Lord talent. Monster Ranch, you have leveled up to mythical tier. The only Lord talent effect is as follows: Lord talent. Monster Ranch, legendary tier. Monster Ranch, your territory has the method to build a special building. Monster Ranch, the Lord talent information of the Monster Ranch still hasn't changed at the legendary tier level? Jojo clicked his tongue in wonder. However, he do not care. This was the Lord talent. On the surface, here did not seem to be any changes. In fact, the change were enough to make one wanna faint from joy. He didn't hesitate and directly took out 400 million green bronze tier Lord talent crystal fragments and 6 mythical tier unique Lord talent crystal fragments to fuse into a mythical tier unique Lord talent origin divine crystals. Then, he used it silently in his heart. As you have 3 legendary tier Lord talents, Insight Defection, Master Thief's Robbery Gloves, and Super Construction Engineering 9, please choose one to advance. Jojo do not hesitate and directly chose to upgrade the Lord talent, Monster Ranch. As for the other 2, he would think about them later. Lord talent had been chosen. Upgrading in progress. The next second, he felt an extremely strong warm feeling appear between his eyebrows again. After a long time, the warmth faded. A new text notification appeared. Lord talent upgrade successful. Congratulations, your legendary tier Lord talent, Monster Ranch, had been upgraded to mythical tier. Your solely Lord talent, Scarlet Broodmother, you have leveled up to mythical tier. The solely Lord talent effect is as follows. You have leveled up to mythical tier. The only Lord talent effect is as follows: Scarlet Broodmother, one of the sources of scarlet creatures. It nurtures monsters of a specific race by absorbing scarlet fog. Specific talent effect 1 Mist Mother. In order to share its incubation mission and focus on incubating high-quality offspring, the Scarlet Broodmother can use the Crimson Law to create the Mist Mother. The Mist Mother can absorb the scarlet fog at night and produce fog monsters below the leader level. Specific talent effect 2 Scarlet Affinity. The Fog Monster faction sees you as a temporary member of their faction and will not take the initiative to attack you and your territory faction. However, when you take the initiative to attack the other party or do any harmful actions to the Fog Monster faction, this effect will automatically be broken. Specific talent effect 3 Scarlet King. As the owner of the Scarlet Broodmother, the owner's status is comparable to the Scarlet King. You can go to any Fog Monster faction that has no grudge with you or your territory faction and let this Fog Monster faction be used by you. The level of this Fog Monster faction is the same as your own faction. Moreover, you can only have the loyalty of one Fog Monster faction at the same time. Specific talent effect 4 Scarlet Embryo. You can order the Scarlet Broodmother to specially nurture a Scarlet Hero or a Scarlet God Spirit. The length of time a hero or God Spirit can be nurtured depends on the level of the hero or God Spirit. The higher the level, the longer the nurturing time. The lower the level, the shorter the nurturing time. It can shorten the gestation time of the embryo by going out to war and kill. Specific talent effect 5 Scarlet Blood Servant. The Scarlet Broodmother's main body can nurture dragons, titans, elvins, elves, fairies, descendant of the God Spirit, and other fog monsters with top-notch bloodlines to become the Scarlet Broodmother's blood servants and protect the Scarlet Broodmother. Jojo widened his eyes slightly. After Monster Ranch advanced to the mythical tier, It directly became the Scarlet Broodmother. Why did this sound like Scarlet Lord's talent? It shouldn't be Scarlet Lord's talent. Otherwise, the Supreme Will would have appeared long ago. It's probably just literal. Zhou reminded himself. He looked at the information of the mythical Tier 1 Lord talent and pondered. Specific talent effect 1 Mist Mother should be the main effect of the original Monster Ranch. It was completely preserved, but its name had changed. The Scarlet Broodmother should be the upgraded version of Mu Gu's main body. As for the Mist Mother, it should be the upgraded version of the monster clergyman under him. Why did this name sound like Cthulhu? Specific talent effect 2 Scarlet Affinity. To Zhou, this ability was equivalent to giving him an unlimited pass to freely enter and exit the Fog Monster faction. It was naturally useful. For example, it could be used in intelligence exploration. However, it was not very useful at this stage. Of course, he wouldn't take the initiative to attack the Fog Monster faction just because the other party thought that he was a temporary member of his faction. He would still hit him without hesitation. He had long been labeled as a Supreme Will after all. It was impossible for him to be a fence-sitter and stand on both sides. The third talent effect, the Scarlet King, was not very useful at the moment. Zhou's current territory was only at the advanced grade of the epic tier after all. With the Scarlet King, he would at most have the allegiance of an advanced Scarlet Kingdom. He could easily defeat a beginner Empire Lord-level force now. Why would he need an advanced Kingdom Lord-level force? However, if this talent effect was used at certain special times, he might be able to obtain a surprise weapon and play a surprising role. As for the fourth talent effect, the Scarlet Embryo, it surprised Zhou. This was because the Scarlet Broodmother could actually nurture god spirits. In the past, the Monster Ranch was limited by its level and could not cultivate Scarlet God Spirits above its level. Now, it was actually possible. Not bad, not bad. As for how to nurture it, he could ask the Scarlet Broodmother later. As for the last Scarlet Blood Warrior, it was also a talent effect that surprised Zhou. He remembered that the Monster Ranch previously could not breed fog monsters with top-notch bloodlines like dragons, titans, and elven. Now, it could actually do so. Even though it could only be nurtured by the Scarlet Broodmother, and the number of output should be limited, it could also allow Zhou to have many high-level bloodline soldier types under him, and they could be infinitely replicated. After upgrading my territory, I'll go to the Scarlet Broodmother to take a look at the situation, Zhou thought. Then, he took a look at the number of Lord Talent crystal fragments he had. 2,156,522 Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 88,031,300 Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 9,239 White Silver Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 5,895 Yellow Gold Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 1,600 White Platinum Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 355 Diamond Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 12 Extraordinary Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 7 Epic Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 5 Legendary Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 0 Mythical Tier Unique Lord Talent Crystal Fragment. Let's save it first. With my current development speed, it's no longer very difficult to accumulate enough to create the next Mythical Tier 1 Lord Talent. Zhou muttered to himself, but he could not help but laugh. There was a time when he believed that this was a mission that could not be completed at all. Now, it has actually become simple to him. The place they were standing at was different, and the scenery they were looking at was indeed different. He felt a little emotional. Then, without much thought, he flew out of the Divine Kingdom and floated in the starry sky, looking in the direction of the Divine Kingdom's foundation. With a wave of his right hand, he took out 4,000 trillion units of basic materials, 10,000 legendary tier mist cores, 1 billion origin crystals, 10 billion basic elemental gems, 3 billion high-level elemental gems, and a legendary tier territory token to upgrade. Soon, a large number of upgrade materials disappeared and a text notification appeared. Congratulations! Your epic tier advanced grade small blessed land has successfully been upgraded to a legendary tier elementary grade building and advanced to a large blessed land. Your territory has been successfully upgraded to a legendary tier elementary grade territory. Your epic tier advanced grade blessed land myriad formation has been upgraded to legendary tier elementary grade 9 refinement divine transformation formation. Durability of territory stone tablet increased to 200 billion/200 billion. Your territory has expanded to 1 million kilometers x 1 million kilometers x 100,000 kilometers. All fog monsters within the territory of the new territory have been expelled. Scarlet fog will not appear in any of your territories. You have received an upgrade reward. Basic construction blueprint treasure chest. Extraordinary tier elementary grade. Lord talent hint. Your monster ranches can be upgraded. Lord talent hint. Your mysterious caravan faction has increased. Lord talent hint. The strength of the clergy in your goddess of life's shelter has increased. The next second, an even more dignified and loud voice sounded. Cerulean Planet World Channel Lord announcement. Congratulations to the Lord of the Blazing Sun, becoming the first Lord to upgrade his territory to legendary tier. Reward: Supreme Treasure Chest +1, Reputation Rating +1, Unique Title of the Race. Glory of the Pioneer 7 has advanced to Glory of the Pioneer 8. Cerulean Planet's entire channel's Lord announcement. Congratulations to the King of the Blazing Sun, Advanced Kingdom. Lord of the Blazing Sun. Cerulean Planet's entire channel's Lord announcement. Congratulations to the King of the Blazing Sun, Advanced Kingdom. Lord of the Blazing Sun. Zhou smiled. He finally won this title again, but he could not relax. He still wanted to get the subsequent titles. Fortunately, there shouldn't be many titles left. Then, Zhou was not in a hurry to look at the rewards. Instead, he opened the World Channel and all the other camp channels. Most of the Lords of Cerulean Planet were discussing the advancement of his territory to the legendary tier. Zhou smiled when he saw this. Then, he replied to his friend's congratulatory message and opened the latest title information. Title: Glory of the Pioneer 8, Title Quality. Unique Title of the Race, Title Effect 1. You are famous among the Cerulean Planet Lords. More people admire your reputation and yearn to join your territory. The number of subjects you can summon through the gate of summoning every day plus 800%. Professional talents of the same level as the territory among the subjects summoned plus 9. Title Effect 2. Same as before. Title Effect 3. When you become the first Lord of Cerulean Planet with a low-tier deity level elementary grade territory, this title will be upgraded to Glory of the Pioneer 9, and more title effects will be unlocked. Title Introduction. Same as before. Zhou was satisfied. However, the number of basic subjects he could summon had doubled. There was also an additional professional talent at the same level as the territory. He was really looking forward to the title performance after leveling up to the low-tier deity level elementary grade. He could receive 10 god spirits for free every day, even if it was the weakest god spirit. Just the thought of it made him feel good. After reading the title information, Zhou took the Supreme Treasure Chest and opened it. He saw a golden triangular flag lying quietly inside. Treasure name: Flag of Summoning. Treasure grade: Special tier. Treasure effect: when the Lord raises the flag of summoning to summon the entire army, all the soldiers under the Lord can see this flag and hear the Lord's call no matter where they are. The soldiers can respond to the Lord's call in their hearts and come to the Lord's side immediately to fight for the Lord. Treasure description: a special flag born in a certain source land. It has the magical effect of instantly summoning an army. Note: this treasure can only be used once a day. This flag is quite functional. Furthermore, it can only be used by Lords. It's a treasure exclusive to Lords. Furthermore, it can only be used by Lords. It's a treasure exclusive to Lords. Then, he looked at the resources needed to upgrade his territory to the legendary level. Building upgrade: 2,000 trillion units of wood, 2,000 trillion units of fine sand, 2,000 trillion units of metal, 2,000 trillion units of stone, 50,000 pieces of legendary tier mist core, 2 billion origin crystals, 20 billion units of basic elemental gems, 2 billion units of thunder element gems, 2 billion units of life elemental gems, 2 billion units of death elemental gems, 5 legendary tier cities, 1,000 legendary level lifestyle professionals, 10,000 legendary tier military professionals, 200 race heroes, and 3 legendary tier territories. Basic materials, mist core, origin crystals, basic element gems, thunder element gems, the number of legendary tier cities, the number of lifestyle professionals and combat professionals, the number of racial heroes, and the number of legendary tier territory tokens. I'm satisfied. As expected, only the life elemental gems and death elemental gems are lacking in quantity. Jojo felt helpless. 2 billion life elemental gems and death elemental gems. In total, it was a total of 4 billion. He only had 400 to 500 million life elemental gems and death elemental gems left after the upgrade. It was far from enough to level up. We need to continue expanding outwards, Jojo thought. Thankfully, he didn't lack enemy territories that he could attack. In another 3 to 4 days, he should be able to gather the number of gems needed to level up. Then, he came to the gate of summoning. With a thought, he consumed 6 trillion units of basic materials and 1,000 legendary tier mist cores to upgrade the gate of summoning to the legendary tier elementary grade. Congratulations, your gate of summoning has been successfully upgraded to a legendary tier elementary grade building. You can summon 10,000 subjects every day. You will summon 900 professionals every day. Prompt. Under the influence of the unique title of the race, Glory of the Pioneer 8. You can summon 139,500 subjects every day. You will summon 909 professionals from the subjects every day. After reading it, Jojo could not help but be surprised. This time, after advancing to the legendary tier elementary grade, the additional number of basic subject summons was actually 10,000. It allowed the total number of basic subjects to reach 15,500. After being buffed by the Glory of the Pioneer 8, it directly increased by 8 times, becoming 139,500 people. Not bad, not bad. Jojo was very satisfied. Then, he looked at the upgrade requirements for the Gate of Summoning. Construction upgrade. 10 trillion units of wood, 10 trillion units of fine sand, 10 trillion units of metal, 10 trillion units of stone, 2,000 pieces of legendary tier mist core. Territory level upgraded to legendary level. Jojo took a look and memorized it before returning to the Divine Kingdom world. In the Divine Kingdom world, when Jojo arrived, he immediately felt the improvement. The diameter of the Divine Kingdom world has increased from the previous 8 billion light-years to 50 billion light-years. The potential of the life forms in the Divine Kingdom world has also become more tolerant and diverse. The laws of the Divine Kingdom world have also become more perfect. Jojo nodded slightly, as expected of the Divine Kingdom world created by the Lord's laws. After the territory was upgraded, the Divine Kingdom world also received a huge upgrade. If they were gods who walked the path of other laws, even if they were lords of all races, they would definitely not be able to obtain such a huge increase after increasing the level of their territory. This was the advantage of the Lord's law. Then, he headed straight for the Mu residence where Mugu was located in the Divine Kingdom. When Jojo arrived at the Mu residence, it looked the same as usual. However, under Jojo's divine eyes, he saw a behemoth-like monster that emitted a dense scarlet fog and the power of scarlet laws. He couldn't see his exact form. Most of his body was covered by the scarlet fog, and his heavy and terrifying breathing could be heard around him. Around him, a tall and thin woman holding a scarlet lantern floated in midair, spreading scarlet fog around her. All kinds of fog monsters were faintly discernible in the fog, making people afraid but also curious. Mugu, Jojo said. Your Majesty. Mugu's deep and heavy voice sounded. Please forgive me for not being able to welcome your Majesty. With my current attitude, it's very difficult for me to do anything else. Are you already a scarlet broodmother? Jojo asked. Yes, your Majesty, Mugu said in a deep voice. I feel that I'm infinitely close to the origin of the Crimson Law. In fact, I can vaguely sense the existence of the Crimson Overlord. However, I don't dare to approach. The Crimson Overlord is as great as the Supreme Will. With a thought, he can wipe out all traces of my existence. Well done. Your own safety is the most important. Zhou clicked his tongue in his heart, but he nodded on the surface. Then, he said with concern, I made you look like this. Do you feel any discomfort? Other than being unable to move, everything else is fine, Mugu said. I quite like this body in front of me. I can feel that this body has unlimited potential, can help me reach a higher level. It's even a level that I didn't dare to imagine in the past. Zhou acknowledged. Tell me about your metamorphosis this time. Yes, Your Majesty. Firstly, in terms of my strength, I'm currently at the legendary tier elementary grade. The Scarlet Broodmother's level is also the same as my strength. In addition, all the monster shepherds under my command have been transformed into mist mothers that can produce and nurture basic ranch monsters. There are about 10,000 misty mothers under my command. They have their own mist mother world and can nurture designated fog monsters in their respective mist mother worlds. Each misty mother world can nurture 10 million misty monsters. 10,000 mist mothers can nurture 100 billion mist monsters. All the fog monsters can be used by me or Your Majesty. When Your Majesty needs them, I can lead all the fog monsters of the Mist Mother to fight with Your Majesty on the battlefield. I don't dare to say that it's a true god tier, but I'm confident that I can kill enemies below the true god tier. Mugu laughed in a low voice. Then, he said, I can also specialize in nurturing high-quality scarlet heirs now. Your Majesty, if you have a fog monster or a scarlet god spirit that you value, as long as you capture it alive and hand it to me, I can nurture an existence similar to a clone. It's not a problem for me to create 8 to 10 fog monsters with high bloodlines a day. As for god spirits, I currently need 3 days to nurture a low-tier deity-level elementary-grade god spirit. However, when my strength advances to the low-tier deity-level elementary grade, I can nurture a scarlet god spirit in a day. Zhou nodded. After a few seconds of silence, he said, In that case, leave 2,000 of your 10,000 mist mothers to nurture mechanical fear falcons, iron-eating bears, and withered trees. For the remaining 8,000 mist mothers, use 4,000 to nurture the violent storm demon spirit. The other 4,000 are used to nurture the yellow talisman Dao soldiers. As such, tomorrow, he would be able to obtain 120 billion yellow talisman Dao soldier recruitment books, 120 billion yellow talisman Dao soldier class change certificate, 120 billion violent storm spirit recruitment books, and 120 billion violent storm spirit class change certificate. If they used both the recruitment books and the class change certificate, he would have an additional 480 billion troops tomorrow. In addition, he already had more than 120 billion troops. His military strength could directly break through to 600 billion soldiers. This army was already comparable to the people of foreign races led by Uriel. Moreover, as his soldiers were all empire-level soldiers, once his 600 billion soldiers faced Uriel's 500 to 600 billion soldiers, he would definitely obtain a crushing victory. Wait till tomorrow. I'm not afraid of Uriel with such military strength. Zhou was excited, but his eyes were extremely deep. He felt that he was getting closer and closer to the decisive battle with Uriel. No god spirit in the entire high continent would be able to stop his development by the time he defeated Uriel. At that time, as long as he did not provoke divine kingdom lords or super empire lords, he could play around in the high continent. The high continent was the source of the infinite worlds. It was a good place. Top-grade resources could be said to be everywhere. At that time, he could mine it however he wanted. After a while, he came back to his senses and began to think about what Mugu's main body could nurture. However, he gave up after some thought. If Mugu's main body wanted to cultivate it, he had to bring over a living sample. For example, powerful scarlet creatures or scarlet god spirits. Even though Zhou had the monster army under his command, he did not fancy any of the fog monsters. Keep the cultivation spot in the Mu-Gu for now. I'll use it when I have a suitable target in the future, Zhou thought to himself. After that, Zhou chatted with Mu-Gu about more information about the Scarlet Broodmother. After understanding more information about this Lord Talent, he returned to the Divine Kingdom's main hall in satisfaction. Not long after he arrived at the Divine Kingdom's main hall, Aaliyah came to report that Zheng Fuguei and Carol Moeli wanted to see him. Zhou naturally agreed. Soon, the two of them arrived in front of Zhou. "Greetings, Your Majesty," Zheng Fuguei and Carol Moeli said respectfully. "Are the two of you here to talk about your improvement?" Zhou asked with a smile. "Exactly." They both nodded. "That's exactly what I want. Tell me." Zhou nodded. When Zheng Fuguei heard this, he was the first to step forward. "Your Majesty, the number of mysterious merchants has increased from 2 million to 5 million. The number of carriages transporting goods has also increased to 5 million. In addition, the strength of all the mysterious merchant has also increased to the legendary tier elementary grade. Every mysterious merchant's mysterious business ring has become a dimensional ring that can accommodate a demiplane. In the end, our treasure hunting ability has also improved again. In the future, when we go out to do business, we should be able to bring back at least 10 treasures at a time." "Not bad." A smile appeared on Zhou's face again. The mysterious caravan was not only an important channel for he to trade goods, but it was also an important high-end channel for he to obtain information. Its importance was not inferior to that of the Heavenly Map Army. Now that the mysterious caravan had such a huge improvement, it would be very beneficial to his future development. He was naturally very satisfied. He looked at Carol Moeli and then his brows twitched slightly. "Carol Moeli, did the upgrade of your territory not increase your strength?" At this moment, Carol Moeli still had the strength of an elementary grade true god tier in his perception. She was almost the same as last time, except that her aura was stronger and more stable. There was no breakthrough. Carol Moeli smiled bitterly and said, "Your Majesty, I'm already a cardinal below the true god tier. The small increase in my territory can't allow me to obtain a massive increase in strength for the time being. Unless the level of my domain can be directly raised to the low-tier deity level elementary grade, then my power should be able to break through to the true god tier intermediate grade. However, although my god spirit realm hasn't improved, I'm more proficient in the various divine arts bestowed by your excellency. If I cast these divine arts now, not only will the effect be better, but the consumption in all aspects will also be greatly reduced." Zhou nodded thoughtfully and said, "Continue." Carol Moeli nodded and reported, "Your Majesty, after the upgrade of the territory, the shelter of the Goddess of Life now has 2 billion clergymen, 2 billion priests, 20 nuns, and 20 billion holy knights of life. These clerics are enough to complete the healing mission of a super war involving hundreds of billions of troops." Zhou nodded. It was a pity that Carol Moeli's divine spirit realm didn't improve. However, the increase in the number of clergy gave he some comfort. At this moment, he suddenly thought of something. "By the way, you said that you've become more proficient in the divine art? Is the Great Resurrection spell included?" Zhou asked. "The divine art that I have improved the most is the Great Resurrection spell," Carol Moeli said respectfully. He knew that one of the abilities that His Majesty valued the most was the Great Resurrection spell, so it was the main goal of his focus practice. When his domain was upgraded and his Lord Talent helped him improve his abilities, he also chose the Great Resurrection spell. It was all for this moment. "Can you resurrect an intermediate true god tier human?" Zhou asked. "Not before, but now. My Great Resurrection technique can just improve a true god-tier intermediate grade expert." Carol Moeli smiled. He had made the right choice. "Okay." Zhou smiled when he heard that. He said, "Prepare well. Resurrect the mankind Buddha Lord tomorrow." "Yes, Your Majesty." Carol Moeli said respectfully. Zhang Fugui and Carol Moeli left. Zhou Zhou closed his eyes and felt the changes brought to him by the Scarlet Broodmother, the only mythical tier Lord Talent after they left. A moment later, he opened his eyes, and his gaze flickered. My Lord's Law Talent has indeed become stronger. Also, with the enhancement of the Law Skill King, and the addition of the current Mugu into the range of the King, I can actually sense the existence of the Crimson Law now. Zhou Zhou muttered to himself. Previously, he didn't sense the existence of the Crimson Law even when he cast King and included Mugu. However, he could feel it. Perhaps Mugu's Crimson Law talent had already reached a certain level, which made Zhou Zhou feel something. Lord's Law, Crimson Law. Zhou Zhou closed his eyes and carefully comprehended the difference between the two. If the Lord's Law was the law of order that governed everything and maintained the rules, in that case, the Crimson Law was equivalent to destroying the balance and chasing after madness and disorder. The two are almost inherently opposed. No wonder the Supreme Will and Crimson Overlord fought so fiercely. So it's a battle of laws, a battle of the great Tao. Zhou Zhou heaved a sigh of relief. At this moment, Aaliyah's voice came from outside the temple. Your Majesty, Your Excellency, true God-tier blazing sun, the god of abyssal knights, and Your Excellency Sword Emperor Fuyo request an audience. Quickly invite them in. Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows and immediately said, Yes, Your Majesty. Aaliyah left. It seems that their hunting operation is over. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. Soon Heros, Baihe, and Patriarch Lu came over together. Greetings, Your Majesty, Heros said respectfully. Speaker Zhou Zhou. Baihe and Patriarch Lu still addressed Zhou Zhou as speaker in front of the others. How was your hunt today? Did anything happen? Zhou Zhou asked with a smile. He looked at them and didn't see any injuries. There was a little accident, but it wasn't a big deal. Hera smiled and said, When the three of us went to hunt down the true gods of Inhui and Bloodsea, we happened to meet this guy and another Rakshasa true god. They were discussing how to deal with the Blazing Sun Kingdom. We had no choice but to fight alongside these two Rakshasa true god tiers. Fortunately, these two fellows don't have a single true god-tier divine artifact on them. Furthermore, they only have the strength of a true god-tier elementary grade. The three of us relied on the huge advantage of having true god-tier divine artifacts on us and easily killed these two Rakshasa true god-tiers before the other Rakshasa true gods arrived. Exactly, Patriarch. Lu nodded and said with a smile. Speaker Zhou Zhou, your new true god is really brave. Your Excellency Heros alone killed one of the two Rakshasa true god tiers. Baihe and I worked together to kill the other one. In the end, Heros eliminated the enemy faster than us. After we killed In Luo, we realized that His Excellency Heros had already killed another Rakshasa true god Mo Wang. He really doesn't look like a newbie who has just become a true god. Zhou Zhou smiled and did not say anything. Heros didn't just have a full body of true god-tier divine artifacts. Most importantly, he had received the divine inheritance of the Master God-tier, Blazing Sunday. This Master God-tier was a Master God-tier existence that was extremely good at fighting. His inheritance allowed Heros to easily kill a true god-tier of the same level. To be honest, currently, Baihe and Patriarch Lu were both true god-tier cultivators who had relied on themselves. This was indeed worthy of praise and admiration. However, the two of them had to open their own paths in the future. Without the help of other external forces, just from the difficulty of reaching a higher god spirit realm, Heros was really more relaxed than them. Furthermore, Heros still had the possibility of becoming a master god tier. As for Baihe and Patriarch Lu, it would be difficult for them to become true god tier advanced grade in the future, let alone master god tier level. I can help Patriarch Lu and Baihe if there is a chance in the future. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. Now, Zhou Zhou had already treated the two of them as his good friends in the human race. He naturally didn't wish for the two of them to not see the hope of advancing to a higher level in the future under the premise that he had the ability and strength to spare. Wasn't it just two master god-tier inheritances? He could just find two opposing true god tiers and kill them. Then the three of them handed Zhou 2 Rakshasa true god-tier corpses. Zhou naturally wouldn't go back on his word. He let them choose the 2 true god-tier divine artifacts they wanted and let them leave. After they left, Zhou retrieved the spoils of war from the 2 true god-tier corpses. Soon, all the loots were extracted and placed into Zhou's king's treasure box. He had obtained a total of 12 types of 36 true god-tier advanced grade divine artifacts, and more than 100 true god-tier intermediate grade and lower true god divine artifacts. There were 600 master god-tier divine crystals, 12 master god-tier law skills, 2 Book of the God Spirit, 17 green bronze-tier Lord Talent crystal fragments, and more than 100 true god-tier materials, potions, and other treasures. Zhou smiled. 2 true god-tier elementary grade divine artifacts had been exchanged for so many top-notch divine artifacts and other treasures. He wondered what the others' expressions would be if they knew. Then, he entered the time world and continued to comprehend the Lord's laws. He had comprehended a total of 2 Lord nomological directions. One was to comprehend higher laws according to the height of the king and the myriad methods star palm. The other direction was to comprehend the Lord's law engravings that he already had. By comprehending these Lord's law engravings, he could expand the width of his law and attempt to comprehend other Lord's law skills. Now, he was comprehending the nomological engravings behind the mythical tier, the only Lord Talent, the 10,000 Spirit Saint. I vaguely felt that this Lord's law would be very useful for me to comprehend the Lord's law after it was raised to this level before I raise it to the mythical tier unique level. From the looks of it, it's true. It turns out that behind the 10,000 Spirit Saint, there is actually a Lord's nomological technique. I will be able to obtain the 3rd Lord Law skill if I can comprehend it. Zhou muttered to himself. Then, he gradually comprehended at a deeper level. A moment later, Zhou also entered the time world and began to comprehend the Lord's Law skill after dealing with the military affairs. He did not comprehend the Lord's nomological engravings behind the 10,000 Spirit Saint with Zhou. He was still comprehending the king and the myriad methods star palm as the main battle avatar. After a while, Zhou managed joined the queue to comprehend the Lord's law after dealing with all the administrative matters. Like Zhou, he comprehended the mysteries of the Lord's laws behind the 10,000 Spirit Saint. He could feel that after dealing with a series of government affairs and joining his main body and Zhou Zhan's team, the speed at which the 3 of them comprehended the Lord's laws had increased significantly. The 3 of them also understood something while they were experiencing happiness. It turns out that the administration of the territory is beneficial to increasing the efficiency of comprehending the Lord's law. Time passed quickly. The next day, Zhou was the first to wake up from the time world. He looked at Zhou and Zhou and shook his head helplessly with a smile. After complaining about his endless work, he left the Reincarnation Sacred Palace to deal with the daily government affairs. Not long after, Zhou also woke up from the time world. He did not waste any time and immediately went to find Bai Yun and prepared to deal with the fog monster of the Scarlet Broodmother. Zhou also sensed the actions of his 2 clones, but he didn't move. He only sent a portion of his will to Zhou and took over his body to search for Bai Yun. The Scarlet Broodmother. When Zhou found Bai Yun and brought the army to the Scarlet Broodmother, Bai Yun and the rest were immediately shocked by the Scarlet Broodmother's form. This is Lord Mugu, Bai Yun said in disbelief. Didn't Legion Commander Bai Yun sense my aura? Mugu said with a deep and rough laugh. Even though his form had changed, the aura of his life essence hadn't changed. I feel it. Bai Yun was stunned. Then, she nodded with a complicated expression. It's indeed you, Lord Mugu. Mugu smiled lightly. Take us into the Mist Mother world. Zhou said. Yes, Your Majesty. Mugu said. I will divide His Majesty's army into 10,000 parts because I have 10,000 subordinates. Each part will have about 11 million soldiers. Then, these 11 million soldiers will work together to deal with the 10 million fog monsters in each Mist Mother world. Your Majesty, don't worry about the safety of your soldiers. I will suppress the combat power of the fog monsters to the lowest level and let His Majesty's soldiers slaughter them at will. I guarantee that there won't be any casualties. Let's do that. Zhou nodded. All right, Your Majesty. Mugu nodded and said, Everyone, please relax. We will reach the Mist Mother world very soon. Tall and beautiful women holding scarlet lanterns appeared, spreading scarlet fog around them around the Scarlet Broodmother. It was the Mist Mother. Everyone looked up at the Mist Mother. The next second, the scarlet lanterns in the hands of these mysterious and beautiful women suddenly emitted a shocking attraction. Everyone could feel that with their own strength, they could resist this attraction and not be sucked into the lantern. However, they listened to Mugu and did not resist the gravitational force. The next second, everyone, including Zhou, Baiyun, all the soldiers, god spirits, galaxy, and soldiers were sucked into the scarlet lanterns of these beautiful women. Mist Mother World. This was a scarlet world shrouded in scarlet fog. A huge scarlet sun stood high in the sky, its scarlet light illuminating everything. Everything was also scarlet in color. They looked evil and ferocious, emitting a dense scarlet fog. Yellow Talisman Dao soldiers with bloodshot eyes wandered on the bloody ground, accompanied by strange and hoarse screams or whispers. Zhou, Baiyun, and more than 10 million soldiers saw this scene when they arrived. This seems to be the Ranchland plain from before? Baiyun said uncertainly. More or less. Zhou nodded and said with a smile. Back then, Mugu only had one Ranchland plain. There are already 10,000 Ranchland plains like this now. And in the future, he will have even more Ranchland plains, 1,000 Crimson Worlds, 1,000 Crimson Worlds, and even 1,000 Crimson Worlds. Baiyun nodded in shock. At this moment, Mugu's voice sounded in Zhou and Baiyun's ears. Your Majesty, Legion Commander Baiyun. I have already gathered the 10 million Yellow Talisman Dao soldiers in this Mist Mother world within a radius of 10 million kilometers and ordered the Mist Mother to suppress their strength to 1%. This should make it easier for our soldiers to kill these fog monsters. Zhou nodded and looked at Baiyun. Go. Yes, Your Majesty, Baiyun said respectfully. Then, he immediately flew to the front of the army and ordered the entire army to attack the wandering Yellow Talisman Dao soldiers and fog monsters. Zhou stood not far away and watched this scene quietly. Half an hour later, 100 billion fog monsters were successfully wiped out by the billion-strong army of the Blazing Sun Kingdom. Zhou also successfully obtained all the spoils of war. However, he did not pay attention to the other loots. He only paid attention to the 480 billion recruitment books and class change certificates. It's really 480 billion copies. Zhou looked at the recruitment books and class change certificates and felt like he was dreaming. Next, he only needed to use these books and he would be able to obtain 480 billion recruits. The soldiers he had now added up to only 130 billion. He took a deep breath and calmed his agitated emotions. Then, he handed the 240 billion class change certificates to Baiyun and asked him to find someone to change his class. Your Majesty, are they all going to be changed by humans? Baiyun asked. Prioritize the human race. If the human race doesn't have enough people to change their jobs, let the Fire Cry human race or the Moon Demon race do it. Zhou asked. Yes, Your Majesty, Baiyun said respectfully and turned to leave. Zhou took the 240 billion recruitment books and came to the gate of summoning. After he arrived, he did not immediately summon her. Instead, he suddenly said, Wanya, how's the production of the galaxy in the territory? How many galaxies can be produced every day? Your Majesty, currently, we have already laid down more than 50,000 galaxy spaceship manufacturing bases in the entire human territory. Moreover, we are also laying down the galaxy spaceship manufacturing bases in the newly obtained territory of the Fire Cry human race and the Moon Demon race. We expect to build 1 million galaxy spaceship manufacturing bases in all the current territories. This way, with sufficient manufacturing materials, we can produce 100,000 galaxy ships every day. Our current production is 5,000 ships per day. When you said respectfully, Zhou the king was shocked. How long had it been since he had asked about such matters? Why were there more than 50,000 manufacturing bases on the galaxy? Your Majesty, have you forgotten your legendary tier Lord Talent? Super Construction Engineering 9? What's more, we now have sufficient manpower, material resources, and financial resources. We don't lack in any aspect. Naturally, we can easily create more than 50,000 galaxy spaceship manufacturing bases. Zhou came to a realization. He had almost forgotten that he had the Lord Talent. Where are the materials for the galaxy? Zhou asked. He remembered that the materials used to make the galaxy were very scarce. Back then, when the leaders of the various human factions wanted to produce galaxy on his behalf, each faction leader could merely produce 20 galaxy materials at most. The ultimate overlord has been providing support for the production materials of the galaxy. The ultimate lord said to us, the materials of the galaxy are considered rare in the human race, but in the eyes of the big shots of the Machina race, they can merely be considered low-end materials. As long as there are enough mist core or divine crystals, he can buy any spaceship manufacturing materials indefinitely from the Machina race. When you said respectfully, how many galaxy ships do we have? Zhou the king inquired the question he was most concerned about. We have produced a total of 21,560 galaxy ships. 20,000 of them are currently unoccupied, and the rest of the galaxy is in service. When you trailed off, Zhou the king heaved a sigh of relief. Great. He would be able to rest with more than 600 billion soldiers. Moreover, in the near future, he would not have to worry about the troops not having a place to stay. Thinking of this, he no longer hesitated. He directly threw all 240 billion recruitment books into the Gate of Summoning. Zhou followed the old rules and summoned 300 galaxy ships through Wenya. Then, he got the 240 billion new recruits to be located in the inner world of the galaxy. Finally, he used 100 legendary tier mist cores to summon all the new recruits at once. In the blink of an eye, 240 billion new recruits appeared in the internal world of every galaxy and appeared in front of Zhou with 300 virtual screens. The 8 billion recruits in every galaxy's internal world also saw a huge virtual projection that looked like Zhou. At this moment in the virtual projection, Zhou spoke. All newly enlisted soldiers, welcome to the Blazing Sun Kingdom. My kingdom will definitely bring you an incomparably glorious future. Please believe that. Zhou's tone revealed his strong confidence and affirmation. Such a confident tone also infected all the recruits. All the recruits roared respectfully in unison. To die for His Majesty. Zhou nodded slightly and disappeared from the virtual projection. In front of the Gate of Summoning, Zhou then waved his hand and turned off the projection. He nodded in satisfaction. The troops under him could be considered 592,804,281,114 soldiers. Together with the Star Alliance's 24.1 billion recruits, they officially broke through to 600 billion recruits, reaching the level of 616.9 billion soldiers. That's 600 billion soldiers. Zhou sighed. He did not know how strong the forces of the Divine Kingdom Lords were. However, his military strength had definitely crushed most of the Empire-level lords. In the myriad worlds, this strength would probably be similar to gathering all the troops of the various races in a small world. It wouldn't exceed 1 trillion troops with the small world's capacity, which meant that with his current military strength, he could completely carry out a world conquest war on a fulfill world. Take all the violent storm spirit recruits to the Forbidden Mage class change statue for the class change. As usual, the fees will be borne by our officials. Zhou stopped thinking and uttered to Wenya. Yes, Your Majesty. Wenya uttered respectfully. The next second, 300 galaxy ships in the sky suddenly split into two. Half of them headed to the Blazing Sun Kingdom's army base. The other half flew towards Su Yuan's Forbidden Mage class change statue. When they flew to the class change statue, they happened to see Bai Yun leading the 240 billion human recruits, who had just completed the class change certificate with the violent storm spirit to gather around the class change statue. When Ya and Bai communicated for a while before deciding to change their professions together. Greetings, Forbidden Archmage. Your Excellency Su Yuan, one of the Blazing Sun Army's Deputy Legion commanders, a mid-tier deity elementary grade violent storm spirit god spirit, who commanded all the violent storm spirit soldiers, announced loudly at this moment. The 240 billion violent storm spirit recruits bowed to the Forbidden Archmage's class change statue. An invisible power of faith surged from every recruit of the violent storm spirit silently. Then, they flew in the direction of the Forbidden Mage's class change statue and quickly fused into their bodies. Rumble. This incomparably huge power of faith caused the entire statue to tremble and emit a shocking four-colored light. At the same time, in the hall of the goddess of magic. Ha! Su Yuan, who was having sex with the goddess of magic, felt an incomparably ferocious power of faith suddenly rush into the origin of his magic divine spark, making he suddenly become energetic. At this moment, he only felt that he was filled with power. When he looked at the goddess of magic again, the flames in his eyes were like a tiger seeing a lamb. After a long time, how did you suddenly become so fierce? The goddess of magic uttered lazily as she looked at Su Yuan with admiration. He felt that Su Yuan was extremely fierce today. He was even fiercer than usual. It was as if he had suddenly taken medicine. Just now, I felt like there were at least 200 billion life forms with extremely high potential offering their faith to me. I even felt like I was getting closer to the path of a master god tier. How could I not be fierce? Su Yuan said. More than 200 billion life forms with extremely high potential? The goddess of magic uttered in surprise. Have they all become your believers? No. It's just a belief dedicated to the profession. They might dedicate an extremely high level of enthusiasm to the profession I gave them, but that's for the profession, not for me. Their intrinsic beliefs still belong to that human lord. Su Yuan shook his head. That human lord? The human lord who peeped at us last time? The lord of the blazing sun? The goddess of magic asked curiously. Su Yuan nodded helplessly. TSK, as expected of the number one lord of all races that everyone fears. I did not think we'd be able to get involved with that guy from so far away. The goddess of magic was amazed. Su Yuan nodded in agreement. Then he uttered excitedly, I hope that fellow can come and help me a few more times. This way, I might be able to advance to the Master God tier level sooner. The goddess of magic nodded as well, recalling the experience just now. I wish that guy would come more often. He said, looking at him meaningfully. What did you say? Su Yuan looked at Mistra with a dangerous gaze. Looks like I need to investigate the mysteries of magic. The two of them began to watch content that minors were not allowed to watch, accompanied with sighs. Just as the 240 billion soldiers of the violent storm spirit were in full swing, Zhou was still standing in front of the gate of summoning, preparing to summon today's subjects. He summoned all 139,500 new subjects from the gate of summoning at once after spending 100 legendary tier mist cores to accelerate. Greetings, my lord. All the new subjects uttered respectfully in unison. Welcome to the Blazing Sun Kingdom. Zhou nodded slightly. Then, he got all the professionals to stand up and realized that he had summoned a total of 1,050 professionals this time. He summoned 141 more professionals than usual. Among them were a legendary tier elementary grade chef, a legendary tier magic equipment chef, a legendary tier array master, a legendary tier elementary alchemist, a legendary tier elementary arcanist, a legendary tier elementalist, a legendary tier wind magician, a legendary tier troll warlock, and a legendary tier divine artifact forging apprentice. Ha! Zhou looked at the divine artifact forging apprentice in surprise. His luck was pretty good to have another divine artifact forging apprentice. What's your name? He asked the pretty girl with long fiery red hair and wheat-colored skin, who had a few freckles. My name is Seely Orofa. The girl's eyes lit up. Her clear voice indicated that she was in a good mood. Seely Orofa. Zhou raised his brows. Who is god of sun and forging Orofa to you? He's my grandfather, my lord. Do you know my grandfather? Seely asked curiously. Emperor's descent. The third lord's law skill. They are actually related? Zhou was surprised, but he smiled on the surface. I've long heard of the heavenly god Orofa. By the way, do you know Jacker? That's my junior brother. Very good. He is also in this king's territory. If you have time, you can work with him. Very well, your majesty. Seely nodded vigorously, not shy at all. Zhou sighed inwardly. This little girl's personality was the complete opposite of Jacker's. Jacker's personality was like that of an autistic kid. This little girl was much more lively. Then, he looked at the other 8 legendary tier elementary grade subjects and his gaze fell on the magic equipment chef. He opened the other party's stats list and realized that the other party came from a magic equipment chef small world. The rules of cooking in this world seemed to have changed. The dishes, cooking ability, and cooking utensils all possessed extraordinary power. This magic equipment chef was none other than the magic equipment chef who had mastered a magic equipment known as the 8 Chaos Knife. The mutant beside him came from a small world with technological superpowers. The other new subjects also had their own legendary backgrounds. He had already reached the legendary tier elementary grade after all. Who doesn't have a story on them? Zhou exchanged a few words with the new subjects. After welcoming them as subjects of the Blazing Sun Kingdom, he handed them over to the officials to arrange while he walked to the Lord's shop. When he arrived, he saw Zhou Qingmin sitting in front of the counter, using a virtual projection to look at a website. Zhou walked closer and realized that it was a game strategy website. It was a game strategy website called Lord's Era. Your Majesty, you're here. When Zhou Qingmin saw Zhou, he came back to his senses and hurriedly stood up. Another game? Zhou asked casually. This game is new. It's the most popular among all the virtual reality games, be it in terms of strategies or esports popularity. I heard that after our kingdom enters the era of mixed virtual reality, this game will also release a mixed virtual reality version. We can also synchronize accounts. However, Zhou Qingmin was very interested in introducing them to Zhou. Zhou nodded. He suddenly felt something and asked, who is the strongest player in this game? Businessman Shin. Zhou Qingmin said without hesitation. That guy is in the top 3 of all the rankings in the game. Moreover, he's ranked first on the level rankings, equipment rankings, and money rankings. He can be considered the number 1 player in the Lord's era. Businessman Shen? He should be the young man in the wheelchair when I saw the virtual gaming helmet being released. Tisk. My divination was really right. He has indeed become a famous player. I hope he can use this game to treat his leg and his little sister's illness. Zhou recalled the past and couldn't help but smile in his heart. Following that, he asked Zhou Qingmin about today's products. When Zhou Qingmin heard this, he took out 3 purple boxes from under the counter. Zhou was curious when he saw the 3 boxes. He opened the 3 boxes without a word. There were 3 items in the 3 boxes. A Divine Artifact Forging Apprentice Class Change Certificate. 1 Special Ability Origin Crystal. It was a pitch-black kitchen knife with mysterious engravings. Among them, the Divine Artifact Forging Apprentice Class Change Certificate could allow a blacksmith to change his class to become an Empire-level rare lifestyle professionals. Divine Artifact Forging Apprentice. Special Ability Origin Crystals could help humans awaken an enhanceable bloodline skill. The upper limit of growth was the upper limit of their potential. The last black kitchen knife was a special kitchenware, the 8 Chaos Knife. Treasure name: Magic Kitchen Utensil, 8 Chaos Knife. Treasure grade: Special. Treasure effect: the 8 Chaos Knife can easily cut through the flesh and bones of all the beasts in the world without any hindrance. Moreover, it can maintain the original taste of the flesh and blood. It's a good and rare demonic kitchenware. Treasure description: a unique product from the demon chef small world. It is also the enemy of all beasts. Zhou looked at it for a while. He originally wanted to give it to the magic equipment chef. However, after thinking about it, he still chose to stay. In the future, he could cut meat and cook for Leah. How many mist cores do these 3 goods cost? Zhou asked. Divine Artifact Forging Apprentice Class Change Certificate, worth 500 Legendary Tier Mist Cores. Special Ability Origin Crystal, worth 200 Legendary Tier Mist Cores. 8 Chaos Knife, worth 200,000 Legendary Tier Mist Cores. Zhou Chengmin smiled. Ah? This 8 Chaos Knife is actually so expensive? Zhou was shocked. 200,000 Legendary Tier Mist Cores. He had been buying goods from the Lord shop for so long, but this was the first time he had encountered such an expensive item. This 8 Chaos Knife is a unique creation of laws. It has absolute cutting rules against the flesh and blood of beasts. Even a Master God Tier Divine Beast can be cut by this 8 Chaos Knife. In the myriad worlds, I'm afraid only that the Magic Equipment Chef Small World can produce a unique kitchenware with such an effect. Your Majesty, do you think it's worth this price? Zhou Chengmin smiled. It can even cut the flesh of a Master God Tier beast. Zhou's expression turned serious. Such absolute rules could already be considered a Master God Tier divine artifact. There was indeed no problem with the price of the 8 Chaos Knife. I'll buy it. Zhou did not hesitate this time and said directly. Thank you for your patronage, Your Majesty. Your Majesty. Just transfer the money. Zhou Chengmin smiled. Zhou did not waste any time. He scanned the other party's QR code and transferred 200,700 Legendary Tier Mist Cores to him. Then, he successfully obtained these 3 items. Following that, Zhou returned to the Divine Kingdom's main hall and handed over all the goods to his main body. Then, he went to meet up with Bai Yun. Bai Yun stood respectfully in front of His Highness in the Divine Kingdom's main hall. After Zhou's main body obtained the 3 items, he conveniently threw the Divine Artifact Forging Apprentice Class Change Certificate into the Military Merit Exchange system. He also restricted blacksmiths with high military contributions to be able to spend military merits to exchange for it. Then, he played with the 8 Chaos Knife for a while before throwing it into his king's treasury. In the end, he took out the Special Ability Origin Crystal. Special Ability Origin Crystal. A strange expression appeared on Zhou's face. I'm a god spirit, but I'm actually going to awaken my special ability. He played with the black crystal nonchalantly for a while. He casually touched the Special Ability Origin Crystal with his spiritual power and activated the power within, fusing it into his divine body. Then, he circulated the divine power in his body. In the blink of an eye, he completely digested this Special Ability Origin Crystal and successfully awakened his special ability. My genetic energy is SSS rank Special Ability, Emperor's Descent. Zhou muttered to himself. In the domain that I descend into, the living beings in the domain will naturally change their minds at the last minute and become my obedient subjects. It's equivalent to my territory wherever I go. If you stay in my domain for too long, this kind of mental change will become a permanent change. You will really become a subject who is loyal to me, even if you leave the Emperor's Descent domain. After upgrading this domain, it will upgrade the range of the Emperor's Descent domain. And I'm now a low-tier deity level intermediate grade god spirit. If I come to a plane, I can use Emperor's Descent to directly replace the plane's will and replace the heaven's will with my own heart to become the lord of the plane and command the entire plane. And on a supercontinent like the High Continent, it can directly rule an area of 10 million square kilometers. It's equivalent to the total area of a legendary tier territory. Emperor's Descent. 10,000 Spirit Saint. Zhou's eyes lit up as countless nomological inspirations surged in his mind. I know what my third Lord Law skill looks like. After saying this, Zhou closed his eyes and fell into a deep state of enlightenment. The Blazing Sun Kingdom at the Blazing Sun Palace in the council hall. Zhou's clone, Zhoumanage, was sitting on the throne dealing with the government affairs in front of him. In the hall, more than 100 high-ranking officials of the kingdom were sitting neatly together with Zhoumanage to deal with government affairs. They were all using their personal terminals to work online. After all, it was very convenient to save time and effort. If not for the fact that there were some important government affairs that needed to be discussed face-to-face to resolve, these ministers could have worked from home. At this moment, Prime Minister Zhang Yuanqi walked over happily and sent an electronic memorial to Zhou Manage. "Your Majesty, look! What a joyous occasion!" "Oh!" Zhou Manage raised his eyebrows and looked over. Then, he quickly revealed a happy expression. The electronic memorial read, "Among the 161 people of foreign races who had stopped the humans from retreating to the primordial world, 150 people of foreign races had already accepted the surrender letter and were willing to become citizens of the people of foreign races in the Blazing Sun Kingdom. Moreover, more than half of the other 32 kingdom-level lord factions that had subordinate relationships with other people of foreign races who had empire-level lord factions were actually willing to join the Blazing Sun Kingdom. As for the 11 people of foreign races that had empire-level lords, other than the Fire Cry race that had been exterminated, the other 10 people of foreign races, Zhou and the others, had not made any moves for the time being because they had not sent out any letters of surrender. More than half of the people of foreign races who previously stopped the humans from retreating to the primordial world are actually willing to surrender to our country now. Why are they suddenly willing to surrender? Wasn't his attitude like this before? Back then, when we first sent a letter of surrender to each other, their attitude was very arrogant. Zhang Yuanqi exclaimed in surprise. Because last night, I sent another letter of surrender to these people of foreign races in my own name. I'm the saint of 10,000 spirits, and my strength is definitely above the other party. Coupled with the extermination battle results accumulated over the past 2 days, it's reasonable for them to be willing to surrender. Zhou Manage said calmly. The moment Zhou's main body knew the effects of the 10,000 spirit saint, he immediately ordered Wenya to send another letter of surrender to the many people of foreign races who were unwilling to surrender in the name of his main body. He even attached a personal image of his main body. And the first effect of his mythical tier unique lord talent was Specific Talent Effect 1. You are a sage in the eyes of all living beings. The moment all living beings see you, they will yearn to become your followers. There is a high chance that they will join your camp and submit to you. It was precisely because of this talent effect, coupled with various other factors, that the effect of his letter of surrender was astonishing. The next day, he received so many applications from people of foreign races to surrender. If it was a weak lord with few subordinates and no records of extermination, even if the other party had the lord talent of the 10,000 spirit saint, it would not have such an astonishing effect. The timing, under the Supreme Agreement, Zhou was almost invincible in the Supreme Continent. Geographical advantage, with the galaxy to quickly attack, there was no need to worry about accidents along the way. Human strength, in addition to his unparalleled strength and the domineering 10,000 spirit Saint Lord talent, were all on his side. It would be strange if these people of foreign races did not surrender. That's great. This way, not only can we reduce the number of killings, but we can also increase the number of fresh troops in our army. Moreover, the total number of subjects of these people of foreign races is probably close to 100 trillion. These are all the fresh blood of our Sun Kingdom. Zhang Yuanqi was extremely excited. There's no need to move these soldiers of the people of foreign races who are willing to surrender. There's also no need to recall our kingdom and join our army. Just stay in the territory of the original race to protect their territories. It also saves us from having to send our elite troops over to guard it. However, when we use the class change certificate to recruit new soldiers, we can recruit soldiers from these people of foreign races. The soldiers recruited with recruitment books are all human soldiers. The soldiers who used the class change certificate were all soldiers from the people of foreign races. The two can be balanced. This can also ameliorate the conflicts caused by different races and let them know that although they are different, they are all protecting their country and nurturing a sense of national identity. Zhou Manage said. In any case, with a heaven-defying talent like the Peaceful Times, as long as the people of foreign races surrendered to him, they were basically loyal. There was no need to worry about leaving their soldiers in the territory of the original race. In the future, there would be situations like raising tigers and causing trouble. It saved him the trouble of sending troops over to camp. Your Majesty is wise. I'll do it now. Zhang Yuanqi praised sincerely and immediately went to carry out this matter. It was already very difficult for His Majesty to take charge of the decision-making. As for the remaining tasks of running errands and sharing responsibilities, they naturally had to leave them to the officials. After dealing with the government affairs for about half an hour, Zhang Yuanqi walked over again. Your Majesty, your request has been given. I have another matter to report. Just now, a high-tier deity-level advanced grade god spirit came to the territory of our blazing sun kingdom and said that he wanted to meet you personally and join you. I saw that the person had an extraordinary bearing, so I specially came to report. Zhang Yuanqi said respectfully. Oh, Zhou Manag's interest was piqued. Could it be that his mythical reputation rating talent was here? Let's go take a look. Your Majesty, please follow me. Zhang Yuanqi nodded. Then he left the palace with Zhou Manage and flew into the distance. The current Zhang Yuanqi, under the nurturing of the kingdom's rich resources, was already a legendary tier forbidden mage. He was just short of comprehending his own law skill and becoming a forbidden archmage. Therefore, flying was naturally an extremely simple matter for him. However, Zhou Manage despised he for flying slowly. He grabbed his arm and sensed his surroundings. Then, as if he had sensed an existence, his eyes lit up and he immediately transmitted away. At the border of the blazing sun kingdom, the yellow gold tier regional territory Cloudboat City. At this moment, a young girl wearing a chaos beast skirt, with light gray skin and facial features that were not very exquisite, was floating in the air with a heroic aura. He looked at Cloudboat City in the distance, as well as the blazing Sun Kingdom city in the distance. A look of surprise flashed in his eyes. Is this really the territory of a lord of a race that has just been established? Even though most of the buildings look very new, they should have been built not long ago. However, looking at the luck phenomenon, it's simply like an old empire-level lord faction with a rich foundation. The light in his eyes changed. He could actually see a phenomenon of providence that ordinary life forms could not see. King of the Blazing Sun. The patriarch said that he was a descendant of the chaos humans who had been left behind in the myriad worlds. Coincidentally, he became the lord of all races and joined this lord of all races competition. He walked the path of fighting for the position of the lord of all races. I hope you won't disappoint me and the patriarch. Otherwise, even if it's an order from the patriarch, I want to leave this place. The girl muttered to herself. At this moment, he sensed something and looked behind him uneasily. I can't stay here for long. They're coming. He became anxious. Suddenly, his eyes lit up as he looked into the distance. Two figures appeared out of thin air. One of the figures had a handsome face. He wore the Emperor Dragon robe and carried the regal sage Dao sword at his waist. His aura was supreme, as if no matter where he went, he was a natural emperor. On the other hand, the other person looked gentle, mature, and steady. He had the aura of a high-ranking person. It was obvious that he had been in a high position for a long time and held great power. Miss Yingning, this is Our Majesty, Zhang Yuanqi introduced with a smile. Greetings, King of the Blazing Sun. Even though Yingning was stunned by Zhou Manage's temperament and appearance at the beginning, he quickly concealed his shock and said politely, Hello, Miss Yingning. Zhou Manage smiled and nodded. He felt the aura on the other party's body and felt a little emotional. This was the first time he, an awakened chaos human, had seen a second chaos human other than himself. Your Majesty should be able to tell where I came from, right? Miss Yingning noticed Zhou Manage's gaze and went straight to the point. It's rare to meet someone from the same race. Zhou Manage first set up a barrier to prevent outsiders from hearing what they were talking about. Then he said with a smile, You are indeed a chaos human. Yingning nodded. In the beginning, he was a little uncertain. Now that he heard what he said, he was finally certain. Are you an innate chaos human or an awakened chaos human? Yingning asked. I was originally a human from the Cerulean planet. I was just an ordinary human. Later on, he was bestowed with the Chaos human bloodline by the Supreme Will. That was how he became a Chaos human, Zhou said honestly. In fact, he could have lied to the other party and said that he was an innate Chaos human. With his high-tier deity-level advanced-grade Chaos human bloodline, it was actually not a problem for he to say that he was an innate Chaos human. Furthermore, he could also establish a relationship with the other party. However, Zhou did not care to do such a thing. The Chaos humans can actually grow to the high-tier deity-level advanced grade and approach the threshold of the true God-tier Chaos human bloodline? Ning was shocked. How many people of foreign race bloodlines have you devoured? Zhou smiled and did not answer. Ever since he obtained the Chaos humans, he had been devouring the bloodlines of the people of foreign races every day. Especially in the past few days, Baiyun had led an army to expand her territory. During this process, she had killed countless hostile people of foreign races and obtained a large number of bloodlines. This made Zhou devour thousands of people of foreign race bloodlines almost every day. Coupled with the most important top-notch bloodlines such as the original spirit race, the Chaos Gods race, and the myriad spirit race, if he told the other party about these bloodlines, the other party would probably be shocked. Seeing that Zhou didn't say anything, Ning didn't ask further. Are you from the ruins of primal chaos? Zhou suddenly asked. How do you know? Ning was shocked. The Chaos Ruins was the last resting place of the Chaos humans. Its existence was the greatest secret in his heart. Other than the Chaos Gods who had been waiting for an opportunity to kill them, almost no outsiders knew the location of the Ruins of Chaos. Before he came, he was still thinking about how he should explain his origins to this lord of the Chaos human race. He didn't expect the other party to expose his background the moment he opened his mouth. Zhou laughed. At the same time, he had also used his chaotic divine body to make him indestructible. Chaotic divine body? You killed the beast of primordial chaos and absorbed its bloodline to complete your coming-of-age ceremony? Ning cried out in disbelief. Something like that. Zhou smiled. His main body had only obtained the bloodline of the Chaos Gods from the Lord Shop. The Chaos Gods race had never hunted it before. However, he found it a little strange. The Chaos Gods race was not extinct now. Instead, it was at its peak. As the Lord of the Chaos Gods race, it was normal for him to kill the Chaos Gods race and fulfill his coming-of-age ceremony, right? Why did the other party look like he had never seen the world? The Chaos Will has already died. Right now, the Supreme Will is the ruler of bloodline laws. How did you get your coming-of-age ceremony? Ning found it even more unbelievable. Hearing this, Zhou slowly frowned. He carefully observed the Chaos human from the Ruins of Chaos. After a while, he said, You haven't had your coming-of-age ceremony yet? He uttered in surprise. Yes. Ning replied disappointedly. According to the bloodline inheritance I obtained from the Chaos Beast, the Chaos Beast has been hunting the Chaos humans in the Chaos Ruins. You should have the chance to obtain some Chaos Beast corpses to fulfill your coming-of-age ceremony, right? Zhou was puzzled. If only it were that easy. Ning smiled bitterly. But ever since the Chaos Will perished and the Supreme Will controlled the nomological origin, we Chaos humans have no way of extracting the Chaos Beast's bloodline according to the ancient sacrificial ritual. But without the ancient sacrificial ritual, we have to kill hundreds of Chaos Beasts to obtain a loots of the Chaos Beast bloodline. None of the Chaos Beasts who dared to surround and kill us humans of Chaos are weak. It's too difficult for the underage Chaos humans to fulfill their coming-of-age ceremony in a group of powerful Chaos Beasts. And most importantly, after the Supreme Will took control of the law origin, it seemed to have modified the bloodline law. Originally, when the Chaos Will was around, when we used the Chaos Beast's bloodline for our coming-of-age ceremony, we could almost fulfill the transformation of our bloodline 100% and complete our coming-of-age ceremony. However, after the Chaos Will dies and the Supreme Will controls the origin of laws, even if we have the bloodline of the Chaos Beast, It's very easy for our bloodline to fail during the coming-of-age ceremony. It's very difficult for us to successfully pass the coming-of-age ceremony. That's exactly why to this day, among the remaining Chaos humans, less than 1 in 100 have completed the coming-of-age ceremony. Moreover, most of them are ancient Chaos humans who have lived since the chaotic era. All of this was done by the Supreme Will. We do not know why the Supreme Will is targeting us like this either. Zhou Manage did not say anything on the surface, but he sighed in his heart. Was there a need to ask? Of course, it was because the version had changed. Do you still think you are the children of the version? Times have changed, my lords. But then there was a problem. Why was not he affected? After absorbing the bloodline of the Chaos Beast, he had easily completed the transformation of his bloodline and ended his coming-of-age ceremony without any obstruction? Zhou Manage thought for a while. In the end, he could only conclude that his Chaos human bloodline was bestowed by the Supreme Will. Therefore, the Supreme Will specially opened a back door for him to obtain all the abilities of the Chaos human race, including the special authority to successfully fulfill the coming-of-age ceremony of the Chaos human race. Have I taken on a version of the obscure profession in gaming term? Zhou Manage thought to himself.